Boy, oh boy, I got a delightful record I want to share with you as we go into the 70s with Mr. DJ. It is January the 3rd, 2016, and let's go to Billboard's Hot 100. Outsourcing, once again, Billboard's. There's so many Lost 45s on these Hot 100s. I'll never cover all of them, although I wish I could. I'm going to try to anyway. December 6, 1975 on Billboard's Hot 100. Of course, some of the big hits. I Write the Songs by Barry Manilow. Venus and Mars Rock Show by Wings on this one, and I Love Music by the OJs and Who Loves You by the Four Seasons. But the song I want to talk to you about is that number. Let me go to it right now. Oh God, I'll talk about some Beach Boy harmonies in this record. I mean, it's definitely a '70s record. It's a mid '70s pop record. It's a mid '70s pop masterpiece that never was a big hit. But it's at number 62, up from 73 the previous week. Lonely School Year by the Hudson Brothers. Remember, So You Are a Star, their biggest hit back in the fall of 1974, and they're on Billboard's Hot 100 the week of December 3rd, 1975, or December 6th, 1975, reeling into the 70s, Mr. DJ. Hudson Brothers, though, they started out in the 60s. They've been with a bunch of record labels. They switched from one record label to another. They started out, and they switched names, too. They started out as the New Yorkers back in 1967. They recorded off the Skepta record label in 67. They recorded about 2 or 3 records that were not hits. They switched to another record label in 68. It was called the Jordan Records, and they released a couple more singles off that record label. In 1969, they came out with a record. It was off the Warner Brothers label called I Guess the Lord Must Have Been in New York City, I believe was the name of the record in 69. In 1970, the New Yorkers, they changed their name to Everyday Hudson. Remember, the Hudson Brothers, they were 3 brothers, literally. There was Bill, Brett, and Mark. Changed their name to Everyday Hudson in 1970 off the Decca record label. And then they shortened it to Hudson after they released a single in 1971. They signed to the Playboy record label, Playboy Records, in 1972, and they put I can't even read my chicken scratch. They put out a single, but I can't read it. I just scribbled it down. And they got a break of sorts when they signed with the Rocket Record Company. The Rocket Record Company, which was founded by Elton John and Bernie Taupin. I believe that's how you pronounce his name, Taupin, or Tupin, or I'll just pronounce it as Taupin. Taupin just sounds better. Bernie Taupin, and the Hudson Brothers the Hudsons rather. They were signed with the Rocket Record Company. And by the way, the Rocket Record Company was named after Rocket Man by Elton John, and Bernie Taupin produced a couple of singles by the Hudsons. 1974, with the Casablanca record label, they released an album, and it featured their biggest hit, So You Are a Star, in the fall of 74. Then they re-recorded again under the Rocket Record Company, and Bernie Taupin produced the album. It was called Bafa. And boy, it's considered a pop masterpiece. Just a lot of hook-filled records in that album. Rendezvous back in 1975, which was a splendid pop record around the summer of 1975. That went to number 26 on Billboard's Hot 100. Bernie Taupin produced that album. He produced this record, Lonely School Year. This is just classic mid-70s. This should have been a bigger hit. I'm not saying it should have been number one. It's not a number one. It's not a number 5. Something like maybe number 12, number 13, number 23. Good record. The Beach Boys harmonies in this record, it's just, you'd think that Brian Wilson might have produced this thing. But it was Bernie Taupin. Bernie Taupin, you gotta understand about Bernie Taupin. He is one of the most prolific songwriters. He had quite a thing going with Elton John. Elton John would write the music, and Bernie Taupin would write the lyrics. And the lyrics to songs that Bernie Taupin wrote included Rocket Man, Benny and the Jets, you name it, Leave On, Goodbye Yellow Brick Road, Crocodile Rock, and one of my favorite Elton John records. You get into some of these album cuts by Elton John, it just really hits the spot. Mona Lisa's and Mad Hatters, also written by Bernie Taupin off the Honky Chateau album. He produced this record, Lonely School Year, but it was not a hit. Gosh dog it, on Billboard's Hot 100 for only 5 weeks. Went to number 57 That's it. But you wouldn't know it the week of December 6, 1975, from 73 to number 62. It's the Hudson Brothers, Lonely School Year.